so I didn't have a phone to call anybody or get around, my team was going to win.
Yeah,
That's exactly what happened.
Any hints, reveals, anything we can talk about Sawgrass?
Well,
what's up, everybody? I'm AJ with Heat Transfer Warehouse. We're here for Beyond the Rolls. I have Tricia with us from Heat Transfer Warehouse, and we're lucky enough to welcome Andy from Sawgrass. So welcome, Andy, to Beyond the Rolls. How's
thanks,
it going?
AJ. It's going great.
We got it. First, we got to get everything started the right way. You get your commemorative Beyond the Rolls cup.
Wow.
Your drink of choice is in there. Whatever you want.
It looks delicious.
So normally the flow to this is, we're gonna get to know you a little bit and talk a little bit about the industry, but really we just want to learn more about Andy. So with that, tell us a little bit about your role at Sawgrass first.
Well, I'm in sales at Sawgrass. I'm an account manager. So basically my job is to work with our distributors that sell our ink and printers to the customers to help make sure they have everything they need, from sales training and technical support training, all the marketing resources, and really everything they would need to be successful. Kind of it's my job to make sure it's all there and you guys are ready to go. You always are.
So you've traveled a lot for Sawgrass in the past. Like, what's one place that you can always go back to, or personal travel? Like, what's one place like every year you could plan a trip there?
You know what? I've always loved Fort Worth, Texas. For my first trip there, it's a great little town. It's a lot of fun. Cool buildings, cool establishments. It's always a lot of fun. So every time I get back in the Metroplex area, but especially downtown Fort Worth, I'm a happy man.
Nice. Trish, you like Texas?
Love Texas.
Yeah.
Good food.
I lived there for a couple of years, so.
That's the big thing. Is you're always going to eat good when you're in Texas.
So we've traveled to Fargo a couple times, right?
Yeah, this is my third trip up here.
Is this so? What's the weather been like the different times you've come?
I've never been here in the winter, so this is the first trip in the dead of winter. And me being from South Carolina my whole life, these temperatures up here are kind of a shock. It took a little bit of time to get used to, but it's not too bad. It's a great little town. It has a small town feel, but it's actually a lot bigger than you would think when you get up here and see it. But it still has that nice small town feel, which I love.
So have you been able to experience what we call North Dakota nice or Fargo nice? Have you had any good experiences with that?
Well, everybody up here is really nice. So actually, I will say I left my phone in AJ's car yesterday, and so I didn't have a phone to call anybody or get around. But I walked in a shop this morning down on Broadway, and the people were so nice to look up the address and call a cab for me. And so yes, I have, and it's very nice being around here.
You were talking about last night, like the cold. You experienced some cold in Utah or whatever you went skiing. Can you describe for everybody the cold to your best ability of like what that cold felt like last night when it was minus 15 and the wind was blowing?
Well, I feel like there's two parts of it. Number one is the first 30 seconds. It's the initial shock, but it's a dry cold out here. So it's the first 30 seconds, it's not that bad. You're like, okay, it feels cold, but it doesn't hurt or anything, so it's okay. But after that first 30 seconds, it really starts to set in, and it is bone chilling. You feel it inside your body, in your bones, and you feel it in your lungs when you're breathing in that air. So, after about a minute or so is when it really becomes unbearable.
Me and my wife had to chuckle after we picked you up. You were like, I stood outside for 3 minutes. And we were like, yeah, you're not supposed to wait outside here.
Yeah, not in the winter.
I was just waiting for you to come by and, thinking I'm going to be ready to hop in the car whenever you're here. But I realized that was probably a mistake.
So Trish and I both enjoy the sport of golf. You're from South Carolina, probably like one of the epic centers of golf. Are you a golfer? And if you are, tell us a little bit of what you get out of golf. personally when it comes to like the challenges and everything on the course?
Well, I am a golfer. My grandfather taught me to play golf when I was about 12 years old, and I've been playing ever since. I played in high school, and I've been playing just with friends for fun my entire life. Special time of golf course when I made my first hole-in-one.
Ah,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, that was a big deal, long time coming for me, so there's a lot of celebration there. But you know, golf is such a good challenge, and it teaches you a lot about life. It keeps you humble. It's good exercise, and I love being outdoors. So, you know, it's nothing better than just to get out there and have some fun on the golf course.
So there's like core memories in life. I would consider a hole-in-one like a core memory. Can you describe the hole, describe the shot? Like, tell us about a little bit more about your hole-in-one.
It was 188 yards into a stiff wind. Okay, I hit a 3-wood. It had approximately 2 degrees of cut. Landed about 10 feet before the hole. Rolled right in. It was a thing of beauty.
So the question is, did you win anything for that hole-in-one, or was it just pride?
It was just pride
Okay.
and respect. But luckily, my friends were there to see it.
Oh,
That I play with all the
Nice.
true
time. So
witnesses.
Yes.
you know, if I would have been playing by myself, it wouldn't have
didn't
been nearly
happen.
as special. But
Didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you're by yourself, it doesn't
exactly.
happen.
Exactly. So,
Very
thank
cool.
goodness I wasn't the only one there.
Very cool. So when it comes to like golf, yes, it's part of your life. Is there anything, anything else you're doing in life that's, the next stage for you that you're looking forward to?
Well, my wife and I just closed on a house in Charleston, and we just moved in last week. So, kind of getting everything organized, getting on our feet, and just taking that one step at a time. And it's a lot of work for us, but it's exciting time. So that's kind of what's going on right now.
Cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
What's your first project you're gonna work on in your house?
Well, I'm redoing the garage floors, nice coating on the floors, and building my workbench, and starting with the garage first.
So what made you pick this house? There's normally
What was-
something, or you or your wife. What was the selling point of
You had to have
this
it.
is our favorite thing and it had to be in the house or we weren't even going to look at it?
Well, the thing that I love the most is that it's in the Francis Marion National Forest. So my backyard has about 10 miles of government-owned forest land.
Oh,
It's
wonderful.
great for exploring and, riding a four-wheeler back there and maybe doing some hunting. So a lot of good
Fun.
outdoor activities to be able to do in that national forest.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Very cool. So moving, how often do people move in their life? I've only moved like a handful of times. Trish, maybe.
Unless
moved-
you're like me, like 10.
10. When it came to moving in this day and age, what was the most stressful thing about moving? What was the most stressful thing about moving?
Really, it was just all the work. I did basically everything by myself. So it's putting everything into boxes, moving it to the car, moving it to the new house, unloading it. It's just a lot of carrying and a lot of work. So, I wouldn't say it's stressful. It's just, it'll wear you out for sure. So, and it's just a happy time because you're excited about moving into a new house and you're starting a new chapter in your life, and it's a great experience.
I used to think beer and pizza would go a long way with like moving, and then people stopped showing up. So then you see like the two so and so people in a moving truck, right? So it's kind of nice to. I'm surprised you didn't use a professional mover because I think that's
Well,
right.
see, if you've only done it a couple times, then you're like, I can do this myself. We got this. But once you've moved enough, like me, it's like, nope, we're calling them. They're packing it and everything. Because by then you're like, I'm done.
Bringing it into the proper room, bringing it in, all that kind of stuff. So, you got a garage full of boxes?
Still got a garage full of boxes.
Well,
We're working on it probably for the next week or two.
yeah, and you'll probably have to move on from some things.
Absolutely. Only keep what brings you joy.
There you go. So, tell us a little bit about, from Sawgrass is very centered on sublimation and dye sublimation, printers and ink. Like, where do you see, what's the next thing if people are looking for, like, sublimation, blanks? Of course, there's drinkware and different things like that. What's really growing out there in the dye sublimation world that people
It is a blanks-driven world because it's all about what's the next cool thing or what's really popular. But apparel and wearables is something that's always growing. There's always going to be something new. And, with substrates, stuff like drinkware and these really cool water bottles and stuff like that. A lot of new stuff. So, we'll see what the next big product is. But as far as like where the market is kind of going, one thing I've really seen is that there's a lot of younger people now getting into sublimation. It used to be for more of the older generation with, hobbyists and crafters and stuff like that. But I just think with these new younger generation, they're getting involved in designing and do-it-yourself type stuff earlier. And I think we're going to start to see a more younger, group of printers in the industry as it kind of evolves and grows. But there is, a lot to look forward to.
You touch on like, kids in, younger generation getting into stuff. Is it the entrepreneur spirit? Like, I want to be my own boss, or like, what is it about? Like, you see younger people getting into dye sublimation.
I think it is. I mean, it's the entrepreneurship side, but also just people want to be creative and want something that they can, produce themselves. That you can't just buy in a store. Something that is very unique and that not many people have, and that they come up with themselves. And sublimation gives you that ability to really be creative and use your mind to make something that's totally unique.
You're here for our Wall of Land 2023, which is our annual party. It's a big celebration. We have all of our team members here that you've seen, you visited here in the past. There's other vendors in here, of course, that you've crossed paths with. So what's your thought on our big celebration weekend? You haven't had the big, like, celebratory part of it, but, like, what are your thoughts so far of, like, heat transfer warehouse since you've been on site here the last day and a half?
Well, I think it's great that you guys are doing this event, and I love how all your employees really come together and, not only celebrate the company and all your successes, but each other, and you enjoy each other, your company, and everybody is friends. And I just love the way that you guys really are a team and appreciate each other and help each other and can celebrate with each other. And, not many companies can say that, spending time with each other outside of work is something that not many people do. But the fact that you guys have such a great relationship with each other is something to be very proud of, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Cool. Yeah, we got to play some beanbags or cornhole, however different people say it, yesterday at the bar and grill we were at last night. Of course, we have to play cornhole indoors in North Dakota.
in the winter.
But really quick, can you just tell people, who won that match?
Well,
Not to say he lost or I lost, but
I'm pretty sure
we won.
Anytime I'm playing bags, my team is going to win.
Yeah,
That's exactly what happened.
we kind of looked at each other. We were down 10, and I think we won like 21.
I think we forgot to start. And,
Yeah, I think we forgot to start. I think you're exactly right on
and
that.
once we realized we were actually playing, it was no match after that.
So we had some conversations going at that time. You were kind of talking with somebody else about college football, but I think it came out of that Clemson. Is that your team for like the college world? Is that what I was hearing right?
Yeah, I'm a Clemson alum, big fan, football, basketball. So I bleed orange through and through.
I'm gonna sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I have no clue where Clemson is actually located.
Clemson's in South Carolina. It's up near the corner. It's in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So, one of the things we say about Clemson is that there's something in the hills around Clemson. When you go there once, you fall in love with it, and it brings you back over and over again. So there's something in the hills up there that people fall in love with and always love. So
We always ask people too, like, you know, you've been kind of born and raised in the South Carolina area. If you had the adventure-seeking person or the outdoor type person that visited South Carolina, where would you send the adventure-seeking? Where would you send like the person that loves the outdoors? Where they gotta go if they're coming to South Carolina?
well, I think you've got to go to both sides of the country. The foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, where we have great hiking, fishing, boating, and then also visit the Low Country, where we got the beaches and all the history and the beauty in that part of the state. So anywhere in South Carolina, you're gonna find a lot to do for the outdoor person or the thrill seeker.
So I am a beach person. So if I come to South Carolina, what is the one beach I have to go see?
Well, there's a lot of good beaches in South Carolina, but my personal favorite is Sullivan's Island. It's just outside of Charleston. It's not really commercialized. You know, there's not a lot of buildings. It's mostly just houses and a few bars. But the beach is beautiful. It's never going to be packed, and it's got a great view of Charleston. So I would definitely recommend checking out Sullivan's Island next time you're out there.
There you go.
Will do.
There you go.
So before we wrap up, we have to ask this. Anything coming, any hints, reveals, anything we can talk about Sawgrass?
Well, I can't say too much, but we're always working to improve our software, not just our color management software, but our designer, to make it more useful for customers, to make it easier to create designs, new artwork. So we do have some upgrades coming this year on the design software program side that I think a lot of people are going to like. So I can't give too much away, but just a couple of more months and you'll know more about it.
Very cool. We always like to ask people at the end too, like, do you have any just words of wisdom, not industry specific, but just words of wisdom for people in general?
I mean, people always say, you know, what's the best thing for me to sell with sublimation? How do I make money? My recommendation is to sell what you love. So if you're into sports, go after the sports teams in the youth leagues for jerseys. If you're into photography and artwork, work with your local photographers or your artists. But whatever your passion is, that's what you're going to do the best selling, and you're going to be most successful.
Cool. Well, Andy, I want to thank you very much for coming all the way to Fargo and joining us on Beyond the Rolls. We greatly appreciate it. So cheers. And we look forward to the next time we have you on.